Okay guys, what's going on? So we're gonna continue with our little D class today, and we're gonna pick up, not from here. This is what we're looking at here. See properly. It's a little sunny out here today in New Jersey. So, okay. 5, 7. There we go. Compulsion Demanded, Day 7. 2 years after the whole of London doctors signed a testimonial and declared that this discovery was such that persons once vaccinated were forever protected against smallpox, we have found out since then by experience that doctors are as liable to make mistakes as other people. It would have been just as well, before putting their pens to a testimonial like that, to have remembered the old proverb, never prophesy until you know. They very soon began to talk about compulsion. In 1840, vaccination was paid for out of the public rates, and the doctors said inoculation must be put down. The vaccinators and inoculators here were two sets of doctors, then as now, fought against one another like the pro-vaccinists and the anti-vaccinists at the present time. Oh, this mod here is simple. Made in America. Finally got it. It's a Chinese with tofu on top here. I think those are twisted Claptons. I could be wrong. And the juice. That's pretty good, actually. Probably not the best I've ever had. Haven't had a chance to sample o0o yet because Midwest distribution has not delivered in that area. So, continuing. In 1840, vaccination was paid for out of the public rates, and the doctors said inoculation must be put down. The vaccinators and inoculators here were two sets of doctors, then as now, fought against one another like the pro-vaccinists and the anti-vaccinists at the present time. The vaccinists were in a majority and could not rest until they had the inoculators put down. Consequently, in 1840, an act was passed that Consequently, in 1840, an act was passed that anybody who tried to inoculate another with smallpox would be liable to a month's imprisonment. In 1853, they managed to pass the Compulsory Vaccination Act, which we are here to protest against tonight. I think one of the most serious complaints against the whole system is this: they dare not to trust it to its own merits. Do people want smallpox? Well, let me ask you, do you want smallpox? Okay. How many of you took the flu shot and then got the flu? Do people want smallpox? If the system is any good, it will speak for itself. If it is bad, they have no right to enforce it. You may ask, why was compulsion necessary? The reason was simply this: the people were beginning to find out it was no good. They were beginning to clamor again for inoculation. And the working class, who reasoned more by the hard facts of experience than by medical dogmas. Valley. People were beginning to find out it was no good. They were beginning to clamor again for inoculation, and the working class, who reason more by the hard facts of experience than by medical dogmas, found out it was not the slightest use for protecting people against smallpox. In 1811, there had occurred a notable instance of failure. Lord Robert Grosvenor, Grosvenor, Lord Robert Grosvenor, 10 years of age, who had been vaccinated by Jenner himself, was now taken with smallpox, and lay hovering between life and death. Jenner lay at the bedside of his illustrious patient, and when at last the boy began to turn and get better, Jenner turned to the father. What a lucky job, he was vaccinated. If he had not been, he would surely have died. Thus Jenner started the glorious doctrine of mitigation, which has been handed down as the heirloom of the medical vaccinists ever since. Whew, okay, moving on. The glamour of a name. Another reason why the doctors accepted it was this. Jenner gave a brand new name to cowpox that had not been heard before. He called cowpox smallpox, or the cow, of the cow. He called cowpox smallpox of the cow. Oh Lord, of the cow. Or variolae, variolae, vacciae, vacciae. But you may search in vain for any attempt upon his part to prove it. He might as well have called it diphtheria of the cow, for all the analogy it bore. It gave a scientific air to the whole thing, although there was just as much science in it as in the heads of the old women of Gloucestershire. The theory was this cowpox is smallpox of the cow. Therefore, if you give a person this cowpox, it is the same as smallpox, only in a very mild form, and it is not infectious. So you get insights to how these stupid people think from here. In a very mild form, and it is not infectious. Sir John Simon, the great high priest of the vaccine cult in England for many years, said that the reason cowpox prevents smallpox is because it is smallpox, and that a person who has had cowpox has really passed through smallpox. Wow. And Jenner himself absolutely declared that it was not cowpox, that it is not that cowpox is a preventative of smallpox, but it is smallpox itself. Because it is smallpox, and that a person who has had cowpox, oh wow. It is not a preventative of smallpox, but it is smallpox itself. Look at the incongruity of the whole thing. Someone has remarked that the law is an ass, and I am sure it is in the present instance. By the Act of 1840, anyone who gave another smallpox was liable to a month's imprisonment. By the Acts of 1853, if you don't give another smallpox, which is what cowpox is supposed to be, you are liable to a fine of $1 and costs. So that being so that between the two things, as Mr. Alfred Mines has said, a man is as has said, quote unquote, a man is about as happy as a Jew in Russia. I don't get that joke, but maybe someone can cue me in the comments. Oh man. Okay. Now, moving on. Cowpox and smallpox compared. What is cowpox? It is a disease which occurs on the teats of cows. It only occurs when they are in milk, only in one part of the body, and naturally only in the female animal. It results in an ugly chancre, Chancre. Post that below if anyone knows. S'il vous plaît. And it results in an ugly chancre, and it is not infectious. Smallpox, on the other hand, is not limited to the female sex, as is cowpox, nor to one portion of the body. It presents different physical signs, and furthermore is tremendously infectious. And the course and symptoms of the two diseases are totally different. Therefore, there is no analogy between the two. It is between the two. Baddock and Brighton, accepting this theory, however, inoculated a number of cows with smallpox and fancied that it should have become cowpox, but it never produced anything but smallpox. Music is good today, man. Okay. But it never produced anything but smallpox. So much had this question obscured the minds of the medical profession that the French savants formed the Lyons Commission, spelled Lyons, commission to go through thoroughly into the whole thing. And Montchaveux, the eminent French scientist, after experimenting, told his government that it was totally impossible to convert smallpox into cowpox. The fact is, as Dr. Creighton said, to try and turn smallpox into cowpox, you may as well try to convert a horse chestnut into a chestnut horse. Damn, shit hard, man. You feel me? Give me a second, guys. Old boy music. Strong signs, fuck haters that be acting like shining with some crime. And fuck 5 figures, dog, I'm trying to make 6. I want this shit forever, yeah, I'm on that Drake shit. Take trips just to see the homies from back then. I'm so sharp, even though my name is Mac 10. Who's the future? This shit dark, it ain't hard to tell. This nigga called MGK, got my bust in jail. Join the fucking movement, you wanna get into it? Go to Okay. You may as well try to convert a horse chestnut into a chestnut horse. If they can turn cowpox into smallpox, I say let them do the conjuring trick backwards, and I'll believe them. Look at the absurdity of the whole thing. For the sake of the argument, take it for granted that cowpox is smallpox, and that to vaccinate is to give smallpox. Then according to Jenner's theory, the person inoculated with smallpox should not take it, like his case of James Phipps. But is it not a fact that you can be successfully revaccinated frequently? If therefore vaccination is a form of smallpox, it does not prevent you from having smallpox. Again, if once vaccinating does not prevent you being revaccinated, how can it protect you against a genuine article? If it can't protect you against the bite of a cat, how can it against the scrunch of a tiger? Why these Gloucester doctors, in boasting of their revaccination, are absurdly damning their whole creed? For if their theory were correct, they have no business to be able to be revaccinated at all. But I may be told this may be true enough. There may be no science in it, and I have no hesitation in saying that the gentlemen alluded to by the chairman, Dr. Cruikshank and Dr. Creighton, have knocked the bottom out of this grotesque superstition and shown that vaccination has no scientific leg to stand on. Has no scientific leg to stand on. But there are some remedies which, though you can't prove the psychological effect they have or see the science that belongs to them, yet you know by experience will produce certain results. Now, let us text vaccination by this law. And that is the end of day 7, guys. I will be back tomorrow with more. Knowledge is power. Go with your gut.